This is Miss J coming to my channel. If you have not liked, share, or subscribe, I hope that you will do so, all those newcomers, and please share with family and friends. I think this is very interesting information, and I really appreciate you taking the time out and spending this time with me. Make sure you leave comments. I will reply later. So today's topic is our generation versus today's generation. And to me, some similarities, but so many things are so different. As a child growing up, I look forward to helping my mother. I kind of really pretty much fed off her energy, and I knew that she was a single mother, and so I tried to figure out ways of things. What can I do to help her have a better day? And so I knew exactly, I watched her move around furniture and clean. So I told myself when I get home from school, I'm going to make sure I do something that can help relieve her day, because I know she was stressed at times. I can't say I was the best child ever, but I did know that one thing I could do is with the adults around me, that if I can do something positive to help them in that process, I was. And even knew how to build relationship at a young age. And so I also had a little employment job so young. But I'm just truly grateful for what God have done in our lives. I've been paying attention to the new generation. And I can't say that our new generation is not out there trying to help themselves or help others, but I have noticed more so them focusing on themselves versus really reaching out to elders. I'm a type of individual, if I meet you, I'm going to call you, I'm going to check on you, make sure you're okay. And I try to teach my daughter and my son the same thing, to pretty reach out to family and friends, because you just never know when you need somebody. And not do it because you want something in return, but just do it at the kinds of your heart. But growing up, we had our trials and tribulations as well, and we still do, out there. I grew up around the hood, the thugs, but I can say they definitely took the time out to knock on a door and say, hey, Miss J, I call her Miss J now, it's my mother's name, we used to call her Miss J, and they will take out the trash with no problem, no issue whatsoever, not no mouth, not talking back, or pouting and kicking their feet because somebody asked them to do something. And actually, they will offer, because the way they were brought up, even though we out in the streets, they was doing what they probably wasn't supposed to be doing, but in the home and other elders around them, they were, and other adults, they were pretty much respectful. Now, we had some that would wild out and go back and forth with their parents, but I knew better. I had a mouth, but I knew that my mama didn't play. You know what I'm saying? You could not go there and do all them things that these kids is doing today. And even though as we raising our own children, I'm a single mother. I was with my kids probably for 10 years, but still pretty much raised these kids pretty much day in and day out. And now that he's gone, the Lord called him home in 2012. It's like, I thank God for so many people that was there when they were younger to help me get me where I am today. But today is really critical. Now my son is now 22 years old. He's living on his own, but we had our battles back and forth. I used to be like, Lord Jesus, every day I'm losing my salvation because, like I said, our generation growing up, we communicated. I definitely could say we was expressive, but not in a negative manner where we just will beat everybody down in our words. And we have feelings and we cared, and plus also, I can't say my mom went to church with us, but she definitely made sure we went to church. And I thank her for that, because if she didn't, I don't know if I would know the Lord. And without him, I know that I could have strayed away, because I was into things when we were little too, that we could have lost our lives. But God is so good that he brought us back and continue to bring us, give us the breath of life each and every day, so we can speak up now as a community and as a mother, as a friend, as a scholar, and try to observe the generation today. because I feel like they're so lost. And when I was growing up, we had like different community activities that were free, that were offered to the children today. We got free piano lessons, we got to do dance, whatever. We were blessed to go on field trips, and today the schools don't even have the funding to take these kids on field trips, okay? You know, or they're asking the parents for financial help to supply for just supplies by itself, you know. And the cost of living and the cost of everything is so much higher than what people make today, that parents are working 2 jobs, whether they're a single family or a 2-parent home, to make ends meet. So now they don't have time to really be parents like we need to be. I got to go outside. I mean, my generation, we went outside. We played till the sun went down, and we had to make sure we check in or go in before that sun went down. This generation, the sun will go down, you say, make sure you come back. I need you to check in. They got cell phones. There's no reason why you can't send a text or check in and say, hey, look, I'm here, I'm there. Because though we lived in a dangerous time growing up, this is more of a dangerous time because there's so much access to the children due to computers. The internet alone is a gift and a curse, you know. So, but we're grateful. We are grateful for it. We just, as parents, we try to continue to teach our kids not to give out too much information and be aware of their surroundings. But I like to just say that I thank God that I grew up in the generation that I did, because I love the people. I'm grateful. I want to help others, and this is why I'm here doing my YouTube channel each and every week, is because we need to reach out to others. Somebody needs to open up their ears and listen, as well as I can always receive new information and learn something each and every day that I wake up. We have to inspire others to continue to not give up and trust and believe that as we continue to pay for the youth today, this youth of this generation, because like I said, video games, and we had video games when we were growing up, but we didn't allow that to occupy our whole time. We didn't just sit in front of the computer. But because people don't realize, when you're at home, it's where children today need to know too. This is where you learn your work ethics. When you get up and go to school, they're basically preparing you for the job, the workplace. When you're at home doing chores, and naturally, hopefully, because in this day in society, and even with my daughter, it's not a natural process. Sometimes she's getting better. I'm thanking God. It's a work in progress. But I noticed that I find myself constantly repeating myself, and I'm not no parent. I know I'm not a parent to even play, but at the same time, I have to continue to humble myself so my peace and joy is not stolen, because I remember at a time in my life where I'm just fussing. I used to like, Lord, I'm losing my salvation. I am literally losing my salvation each and every day, you know. So I always work with children, and I did get the opportunity to work with the behavior kids, and as much as there are intelligent young individuals who are very, very bright, unfortunate, someone in their life told them that they was nothing, or whatever scenario they was born into this world, abandonment or something of that sort. It had them in constant distress and crisis situations, which I can tell their joy was stolen, you know. And, you know, waking up every morning and seeing the loss of these young ones had no hope. Their hope was really, there's no hope whatsoever. And I would ask God, like, I'm trying to figure out what is the purpose, because when I was growing up, even though they had a lot of crazy certain situations taking place, I was blessed enough to have someone, I don't care if it was the sweep team on the streets, you know, try to keep us off the streets so we won't be into negative activities. The Lord sent, I don't know, one person, a team of persons to intervene into our lives when we were young kids. Because, like I said, fighting and getting into different negative activities. I always knew that wasn't the purpose of my life, and I knew God had bigger and better things. But in that time, you have to defend yourself, and it was more of a fist fight versus words versus the killing. And we did, as we got older, it was killing started taking place. So we did lose some loved ones and youth that we grew up with due to violence. And but today, like I said, working there, the hope, the sadness was just unbelievable. You know, I always told God, if I can just reach one child today or throughout this school, I feel like I accomplished a goal. And that's really sad that you would think if you only could reach one versus it's so many in need and just sad and just in distress and don't have no hopes, goals, or dreams to become whoever they want to become. I mean, one little kid tells me, Miss Tanisha, I'm going to hell anyway. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, wow. You know, what makes you think you just going to go to hell? Well, I'm here to self-destruct. And I'm like, I was just so like bothered by that. I had to go and, you know, I talked to him and told him how right he was, because he really was very intelligent, very wise. He can draw well. He had a future ahead of him. These are our futures. These kids were our future leaders of tomorrow. And this is how they looked at life. You know, and each day I wake up, I see the loss of the Lord is just not here. You know, our kids are taken over more so by society. The things that they watch on TV, and like I said, when you're working multiple times or multiple days and multiple jobs, and you're not able to be there for them, so the TVs, the video games, and the homies is raising your children. And now this is the outlook on life, you know. Prayer, you know, as a woman of God, you just be pleading the blood of Jesus, and you still see the disobedient and the rebellions in the children, and let alone in my own sometimes. My son, we went back and forth, but I'm very proud to say today, and I'm still pleading the blood for him, that he made wiser decisions. That's put him on the path that he is today. But he had his moments. Never the moments that I had growing up, I can say. Because he kind of he knew the struggle. He got to see the struggle a little early on. So he understood that my mother, despite her situation, her original parent, she just striving. She's not going to give up until the Lord called her home. You know, call me home. But I'm blessed enough that he's still giving me the breath of life as we speak today. My daughter, we still working, a work in progress. She was the sweetest blessing of them all. So kind, so sweet. She had an age now. She's 16. She wanted to be with her friends and, you know, just live life. And I get that too. But we are in a generation that you have to stay rooted and grounded no matter what, because so many things is not there that we had growing up. They don't have the activities for the youth today. Unless you financially have the money to pay for each and everything that your child do, then your child don't have the means to do the activities that some of these other children have the opportunity. But even those children have the opportunity to engage into activities that is presented to them. And so many laws are passed today that says it's okay to do such and such and such and such. It's okay. It's not a problem. But it is. It's a problem because if we are not disciplining our children, and of course, they don't, not the whooping involved, it's considered corporate punishment, then society is raising our kids, and then most unfortunately, their kids land up dead or in jail, you know, on a whole nother way of life. You know, school is important. Even though I tell my kids the same thing, I went to school. I still went back to school to show you to be the example, and God allowed me to open up a business, write children's book, and I'm still striving and applying. So imagine in your generation today, if you don't put your best foot forward or even excel beyond me or your parents, how would you make it in this world today? What type of life will you have? Would you go down a path of self-destruction if we as parents don't reach out and care and pray each and every day for your salvation, or that the Lord would guide you back to where you need to be today? We need to keep the faith and trust and believe, but we have to have actions behind it too and stand up, because like I said, our generation, I feel like we had a little bit more open opportunities to move forth in life, and they offer a lot of more free different jobs. Like this, for instance, I had JPTA. We job training and partnership. They don't have that today. I was able to go through a summer program, learn skills at a young age, 14 on up, and earn a small paycheck. It would teach me skills, the clerical skills or different skills that would prepare me to go in a workplace. Today, I know even they used to have was it RTO? RCTO? So I think it's RTO. I'm not too for sure. But regardless of the fact, they don't have that in many schools today. They do not have the summer programs. I don't see them. I haven't heard anything lately. If you guys know something, please let me know. Tell me, please. I really would like to know, because our kids do need to get involved before they even get out of high school. Yes, they have the college programs, but not every kid have the transportation to go through these programs. They don't even offer those programs no more because of the funding. Everything has been cut to the bare minimum, you know. So just being respectful. I know that my generation, I can't say each and every one of us was 100% respectful, but the respect was there. We knew better. We wasn't going to go back and forth with our parents. Are you serious? No, we didn't do that. We don't go back and forth with your mother or your father. Matter of fact, when we grew up, I remember the grown-ups used to be in one room conversing back and forth, and the kids was in the other room. We couldn't even dare sit in the same room as our parents and communicate with our parents on that type of level, let alone go into their bedroom. That was their secrecy. Kids was not allowed in their mother's and father's bedroom. Today, kids have no boundaries. Wherever you are, you could be on the phone having a conversation and the child will say something. It just has nothing to do with you, for number one, and I'm not speaking to you. I need you to be quiet and do you. And I would address you when I'm done. Or if you're on the phone and a child coming, mama, 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 instead of saying, excuse me, mom, when you get off the phone, can I speak with you? These are some of the things I have dealt with, and with my daughter as well. So I've been working on it. We've been working on it for a minute, and work in progress. I'm telling you, I do believe and trust and believe that she will become the woman she needs to become in this world, a woman of God, and really trust in the Lord that He will have her become a young teenager too, and the adult to do the will and work of His will and not his own, and not her own, you know. So, but I mean, you know, the two generations is definitely totally different, and they do have their own individuality, and we respect that they are their own individual. But like I said, when I was working at that school, to see the heartbreak of these children who have no hope, you know, and when you walk there, it was a crisis. You didn't get to teach. I wasn't there to teach. But really, we never got the opportunity to teach. And like I said, some of the assignments that we did get the opportunity to work with the kids, they were very, very intelligent. They were smart beyond their years. But unfortunately, due to the attention span of, they go back and forth, it was just rugged. And their household situation, whatever happened in their life, it was just a sorrow. So I would come to the work, and I asked God what He wanted me to do. And so I would go to each desk of the student and call them by their name and pray over them before they got there. Some children were a success story, but it was very, very few. And so throughout that process, it started taking a toll on my own life. I would come home and it would be so heavy. You know, I didn't care how much money you made. It was not, it didn't feel like it was worth it, you know. I would not want to go out with family and friends. They would come, I'd be looking at them like, nope, I have to prepare for Monday. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. My kids, I got him home. It was like, you know, you guys, such and such and such and such. They're like, Mom, we are not them. And why are you comparing ourselves? Because it felt like when I got home, nothing was never done. I was frustrated. I know God is not of frustration at all. He is not. But as like I said, a single mother, man, and I'm not saying two-parent homes don't go through the same process, because you can definitely become it. I would definitely respond back. I understand that we all are going through something through this generation of today, you know. But I ask God for patience, and I speak new life into my own household. I'm here to write my own future and my own outcome as well with my children. I'm not here to give up. Sometimes I feel like I want to give up, you know, because all the things you may try and do, you feel like it's not taking place. But I do know, seeing my son, the stuff that I had spoke with him continuously over a period of time, he actually took heat, and I do see it paying off as we speak. So I have to have more patience with my daughter, and I believe that it will pay off as well. So generation today, we pray that you become more respectful, because I'm going to tell you, when it's people, old people need to put their stuff in the car. Growing up with our young men and women, we didn't mind. We want to help them elderly people, or even a person who just need help putting the stuff in the car, or helping cleaning. Matter of fact, we babysitted for free. This generation says, how much you gonna pay me? Matter of fact, I babysitted you when you was little. But now you asking me how much I'm gonna charge you to watch my child. That's funny. I don't have any more little ones, but I just crack up off when I was, my nieces, they're grown, you know, but they babysit who, you know. Even my daughter, I'm telling her, little one, you need to go out and reach out to family and help, you know, help babysit your niece, your nephew, you know, or your cousin, your little cousin, you know, just naturally, because we love to help those who want to help themselves, and we love to help those who are helping others, you know. I'm noticing this generation is all about themselves, egocentric, I shall say. I thought egocentric stopped at the age of about 12 years old, but no, it continued on and on and on. Every single day, I have noticed egocentric continues on as our teenagers, beyond 12, 13 years of age. Well, I remember also our generation, we would come in and ask her, tell our mom what our day was about, and ask them how was their day. Today, and I'm not saying every household, I have to keep saying it so people won't be offended that every household is the same. But in my household and quite a few other family friends I know, the kids do not come home and say, Mom, Dad, how's your day? And let me tell you about mine. You know, they pretty much stand off and just in their cell phones and their friends. And especially now, my daughter, I allow her to have friends. I got to meet the family friends, parents of the other children. And it just, I gotta go. I'm like, no, hold up. You need to relax, kick back, sit down for a while. The weather is not even the best. Just enjoy. You know, eventually you'll meet with them again through God's grace. As long as you guys have the breath of life, you'll better do so. It's not all about go. It's about you need to learn something, because you about to be ready for the real world out there. And if you don't learn anything, how are you going to survive when it's thrown at you? And you need to take heed and listen to what you need to prepare for, because the world is not going to show you the love that your mom and dad, auntie, uncle going to give you, or your grandma, that word of wisdom to go out there and make it in today's society, you know. But most of the children, not most, but the ones that I have came in encounter, pretty much know-it-alls. Oh, that's not going to happen to me. And I used to say that when I was younger, too. I wasn't going to be a single mother. You couldn't tell me. I was going to be left playing mommy and daddy. But guess what? Miss J is playing mommy and daddy. But you don't know because you're younger. And, of course, it's good to have those. I'm not going to be that person. I want to be successful. You're supposed to encourage yourself to do so. And we as parents and family, friends, and aunties and uncles, we should encourage our kids to be whoever they want to become in a positive manner, you know. But it is a reality check. If you don't apply yourself and go to class and go to school, you gonna have to take some stuff back and rethink, and you might get a late start on these situations. So that would make me go decide at that point in time that, you know, I'm not going to give up on the teenager, because we need youth centers out here. We don't have no youth, at least not where I'm at. I don't see no youth centers for these teenagers to go out and explore and find out who they really want to become, you know. But we do got to speak it into existence. All our children, my children, whoever watched this, your children will be successful. They're going to wake up. They're going to do what all they need to do. They're going to be respectful. They're going to start applying themselves accordingly. They're going to have a listening ear. I claim, believe, and receive in the name of Jesus. Our children is going to wake up and do the right thing. They're going to no longer be selfish and not help others. They're not going to no longer be takers in this world. They're going to be able to give back to our generation and then some. And so when the ignorant install the seed in them, so that they can install it in their children. So anyway, I want to, the Lord put on my heart, I'm going to put on my glasses because I need to do this, to read some scriptures that he believed, you know, the generations that we're faced with. It says, all that generation also were gathered to their fathers. And there arose, he said, another generation after them who did not know the Lord, nor yet the work which he had done for Israel. Our children, now, when I was younger, I don't even remember, well, as we got a little older, when I was little, I don't remember reading the Bible, but as I got a teenager, we became more curious, and we started seeking the word. Even found, he used to have transportation for the buses. Some churches do have transportation, mine's don't, unfortunately, but it was a church bus that came in the bad areas where we live and took us to church, and that was a blessing, because some of us couldn't get to church, and so we will experiment, my god sisters and all of us would experiment, you know, trying to read the word. And of course, we were scared to read Revelation because we had a lack of knowledge, not realizing that is the revelation of Jesus Christ. But with that said, and what I just read was Judges chapter 2, verse 10. And so the second verse God wanted me to read, is pretty long, so bear with me. It's Psalm 78, 1 through 8. It says, and not be like their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that did not prepare its heart, and whose spirit was not faithful to God. Listen, O my spirit was not faithful. Listen, O my people, to my instructions. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known. And our fathers have told us, we will not conceal them from the children. But tell to the generation to come the praises of the Lord and its strength and his wondrous works that he has done. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should teach them to their children, that the generation to come might know, even the children yet to be born, that they may arise and tell them to their children, that they should put their confidence in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments. And I know in the world, period, even as adults, it's so many things to do negative, so many more things to get into. And even as younger, we got into stuff that we wasn't supposed to get into. And like I said, we're truly blessed to even be here and testify today that we made it through that process. And we don't know how much longer we got, although I pray for a long, happy, and prosperous life for me, my kids, family, and friends, and all loved ones. But we don't know the day, the time, and the hour that we will be called. So God is telling them, don't rebel like your parents did. You know, because most of the children are following what their parents do. Because basically, growing up, you learn and you teach your kids the way you were taught. But it is a rule book to parenting. I didn't really think so until I went back to school and did early child development, that you wonder why the kids are doing things that they're doing in the development stages of life. But I do recommend all parents just to go take some classes so you can gain an understanding why your child is doing this and why your child is doing that in the younger stages, so you can enhance their ability to empower themselves to become the individual they want to become, because they're going to be our next president, our next doctor, whoever they may decide to become. We are going to be engaging that into their brains. But mentally, physically, and spiritually, we have to tell them. We have to empower them to become business owners. You know, if you work for someone, that's great. But, you know, stack your chips, stack your money, put it aside. Invest in yourself. Invest in your family. That wasn't taught to me growing up. So that's the difference between the generation to me, too. And now some people growing up in our day and age were taught that, you know, invest in yourself, become an entrepreneur, work for yourself. Or if you do, it's nothing wrong with you working for the next individual. But at some point, we need to come as a whole and start putting blocks and blocks of buildings together of different businesses owned by us and our children. We have to have something to fall back on when we're gone. Those who will still be here when we're not, they can continue to pass that on generation after generation, but also keeping God first and keeping the faith that He will pull us through anything we may face, any trials, any tribulations that we're going to get through. It ain't going to be easy, because He never said it was. He just said He'll never leave you or forsake you in the midst of all you may be facing in this world, you know. So, anyhow, I know it's late, and I just want to say our generation, growing up, and I'm not saying everybody's generation was the same, but from my perspective, was a lot more respectful, a lot more helpful to the parents and to the community, you know. But also, we did have more things to get into positively. That's the difference between this generation, that they're still trying to find their way, and any means necessary at this point to get where they need to be, because they don't have an outlook on life. We don't have a lot of community activities. We don't have a lot of people coming together trying to put these youth centers together, or youth outreaches, or just outdoor activities for the children, because they don't get out. It's nothing for them to do. Why would they go outside? I might as well stay in my room and be on my computer or my tablet, or converse back and forth with my friend on my phone. So no activity is pretty much taking place besides their fingers. Or maybe their mouth if they're talking on the phone. But like I said, each day I'm faced with the trials. We all are. We have to pray for our children. I have to take a different approach.